Konnichiwa, and welcome to the NJPW G1 Climax Block A recap for the 19th and 20th of July. I'm Adolfo the Nerdy Puerto Rican, one half of the Strong Style Syndicate. We saw our first 2 days, July 19th and 20th, of the G1 from Hokkaido Prefecture. Our matches for July 19th. Match 1. Callum Newman vs. Evil. Evil had Dick Togo and Don Valle at the ring with him. House of Torture utilized its numbers game. Evil focused on Callum Newman's knee and underhanded tactics before sinking in his scorpion submission hold for the submission. Shosha Evil. Match 2. Yoya Uemura vs. Bolton Oleg. The big man from Kazakhstan, Bolton Oleg, tossed Yoya Uemura around early, but Yuya was able to outsmart and out-reverse Oleg to get the pin. Shosha Yuya Uemura. Ryohei Iwa vs. David Finlay with Geto. Ryohei Iwa attempted to dazzle David Finlay with a lightning-fast offense, but Finlay slowed the match down to his speed before dropping Iwa with a lariat and getting the pin. Shosha David Finlay. Sanada vs. Yota Tsuji. Sanada introduced Yota Tsuji to the crowd, literally, and tried for a countout. Yota dramatically slid back into the ring on the back half of a 19 count and introduced Sanada to the mat with his Gene Blaster before getting the pin. Shosha Yota Tsuji. Taichi vs. Hiroshi Tanahashi. These two put on a classic strong style match. Hard kicks and hard chops. Taichi valiantly fought, trying to fight through Hiroshi Tanahashi's tactic on focusing on his knees, but in the end, it took not one, not two, but 3 planchas to keep Taichi down. Shosha Hiroshi Tanahashi. July 20th. Callum Newman vs. Hiroshi Tanahashi. Ace, showing us why he's the ace, and displayed great ring tactics by continuing to focus on Newman's already weak left knee. But Callum Newman muscled through and pinned Tanahashi. Shosha Callum Newman. Ryohei Iwa vs. Bolton Oleg. 2 big hunks of man meat slapped each other around, and it was glorious. In the end, however, Oleg outsmarted Iwa with a reversal into his finisher. Shosha Bolton Oleg. David Finlay with Geto versus Sanada. A match of wit. David Finlay and Sanada both tried to outsneak each other. The ref caught Sanada, though, when he tried to use Geto as a distraction to hit Finlay with the guitar, opening up the opportunity that Finlay needed to get the pin. Shosha David Finlay. Evil with Dick Togo and Don Valle versus Yota Tsuji. Deception versus heart. Yota Tsuji put a valiant and incredible effort, but unfortunately, the numbers and tricks of the House of Torture yet again prevail. Shosha Evil. We got a special treat as Zack Sabre Jr. came out on commentary for our last Group A match, which saw Taichi versus Yuya Uemura. It was mentor versus mentee as Yuya Uemura and Taichi went move for move and even had a little sumo in the middle of the ring. In the end, however, the mentor, Taichi, pins Yuya Uemura in dramatic fashion. Shosha Taichi. Standings so far. 2 days in and we see 2s pretty much across the board. At the bottom of the pack is Sanada with 0 points. And at the top is the House of Torture. I mean, Evil, it's Evil, with 4 points. Will Callum Newman's knee hold out? Through 2 days of intense wrestling, Callum Newman's knee was a target and kept showing signs of failing at the worst possible times. Will this continue and cause the tournament for him? Is this the summer of the House of Torture? Back at Dominion, it was called that this would be the summer of House of Torture. So far, Evil and company have kept their promise. Will the ref and the president continue to just bat an eye at their shenanigans? It was a fun surprise to have Drilla Maloney from the B block on commentary for the July 22nd matches. Callum Newman versus Ryohei Iowa. A little early jawing off between the two, and then we were off to the races in this match. Newman introduces Iowa to Bushido Barricade, but the knee resurfaces. Iowa focuses on Newman's weak knee and finishes him off with a stiff lariat. Shosha Iowa, Bolton Oleg versus Hiroshi Tanahashi. A technically sound start with Oleg paying much respect to the ace. Tanahashi had some brilliant technical flashes, but the big man from Kazakhstan hit his finisher to pin Tanahashi. Shoshe Oleg. Sonata versus Evil with Dick Togo and Don Filet. In a mirror universe reversal of the last match, Sonata and Evil showed each other much heelish respect. It got really interesting when Kanemaru came in after ringing the bell to cast destruction and made himself the ref. In the end, though, all the House of Torture shenanigans couldn't prevail against the House of Torture shenanigans, I guess? I don't know. At any rate, Sonata pins Evil with a roll-up. Shosha Sonata. Taichi versus David Finlay with Gedo. Come on, bitch. Wanna go? Was the mantra in this match as Taichi went toe-to-toe with the War Dogs leader, and he actually came out on top. Shosha Taichi. Yuya Uemura versus Yota Tsuji. A fantastic match to watch, with Uemura matching everything that Yota Tsuji threw at him. Tsuji had to dig deep into his bag of Lucha Libre tricks and hit Uemura with not one, but two Gene Blasters to get the pin. Shosha Yota Tsuji. Bolton Oleg versus Sonata. An early offense and Sonata introducing Oleg to the audience. Literally couldn't stand up to Oleg's strength. With a kamikaze, Oleg pins Sonata. Shosha Bolton Oleg. Callum Newman versus Yuya Uemura. Well, we can effectively add Callum Newman's left arm to the growing list of his weak points, as Yuya Uemura focused on that left arm with arm bars and arm locks. In the end, Uemura hit a beautiful gator roll into a German suplex for the pin. Shosha Yuya Uemura. Taichi vs. Evil with Dick Togo and Don Filet. Even the ref getting shots on Evil, and a young lion trying to intervene to stop the House of Torture shenanigans. Taichi could not overcome the house. Evil. He couldn't overcome Evil. Evil pins Taichi. Shosha Evil. Ryohei Iowa versus Yota Tsuji. Another banger of a match from younger NJPW talent, showing that NJPW will be well taken care of for years to come. Iowa uses both strength and technique, but Tsuji is able to match and reverse everything that is thrown at him. Out of nowhere, Yota Tsuji is able to hit a reversal into a backslide for the pin. Shosha Tsuji. David Finlay with Gedo versus Hiroshi Tanahashi. Don't Pull My Hair was a really great comical moment towards the start of this match that saw Finlay bringing a physical offense that I don't feel Tanahashi has seen yet in this tournament. The ace shows why he's the ace, though, as he hits a beautifully executed surprise roll-up for the pin. Shosha Tanahashi. It was a surprise on July 27th when ELP sat in on commentary. Bolton Oleg versus Yota Tsuji. Tsuji again digs deep into his lucha bag as he uses speed to cancel out Oleg's power attacks. Oleg makes a mistake as he tries to hit a kamikaze from the top rope, which Tsuji was able to reverse into a near fall, which fed into a Gene Blaster for the pin. Shosha Tsuji. Callum Newman versus David Finlay with Gedo. Callum Newman goes for a lightning-fast offense at the beginning, but Finley's able to slow him down to his pace when he is introduced to the crowd, literally. Finley goes for a powerbomb to finish off Callum Newman, but Callum Newman reverses it midair for a surprise roll-up that gets him the pin. Shosha, Callum Newman. Taichi vs. Sanada. Taichi just said my theme song and tries to put Sanada down fast. Unfortunately, them House of Torture shenanigans by way of Kanemaru assists negated anything, even from help for Taichi from a young lion and Japanese announcer. Sanada in the end gave Taichi the honky-tonk treatment by smashing his guitar into Taichi's face for the pin. Shosha Sanada. Evil with Dick Togo and Don Filet versus Yuya Uemura. In a stark flip from the previous match, House of Torture shenanigans could not keep Yuya Uemura down. Evil is just straight up outgunned as Uemura hits his deadbolt suplex on Evil for the pin. Shosha Yuya Uemura. Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Ryohei Iowa. Iowa goes for technique against the ace, but resorts to his power as he hits Tanahashi with a powerful lariat to pin the ace. Shosha Ryohei Iowa. Points through July 27th. So, as we see, a lot has changed in this first week. We have Hiroshi Tanahashi, Taichi, Sanada, and Callum Newman all tied with 4 points. In the middle, we have Uemura, Bolton Oleg, Iowa, and Evil with 6 points. At the very tippity top, we have Yota Tsuji with 8 points. At the bottom, we have David Finlay with 2 points. So, my matches for this past week, I'm actually going to split them up into 2 categories because we had some great, technically sound wrestling matches, and then we had some very entertaining wrestling matches that might not have been as sound, but really, I feel, for the production value, deserves to be up there. My matches of this past week all go to Yota Tsuji. Each and every match that he wrestled was technically spot on, very exciting, and held you captivated until the last pin. On the flip side of that, my most entertaining matches have to go to Evil and Sanada and the House of Torture crew. It is very evident that the House of Torture is coming out in gang mode to just mump up anyone that they're wrestling. And though most of the time I don't really like that sort of heelish outside interference coming in to interfere with the match, the way that they have done it in this past week has been very funny and very entertaining. Check them out. So my final thoughts for this week from July 22nd to July 27th. It's still really early. I know that a lot of outlets and some other channels are really freaking out and making it feel like it's the end, but it's not. If you look at the standings, everyone is still mathematically in it, and for all intents and purposes, it's a really tight field. From day to day, it can change just like that. So I'm expecting coming into this upcoming week a lot of interesting things to happen. Wow, this is starting to feel like G1, you know? This is starting to feel like we're in the middle of a tournament. Everybody's body has taken a few dings. Everybody mentally getting a bit tired. It's hot wherever we go. It's been 30 degrees Celsius plus in every city, every hotel room. Konnichiwa, and welcome back to the NJPW G1 Climax Block A recap from August 1st through August 3rd. I'm Adolfo the Nerdy Puerto Rican, one half of the Strong Style Syndicate. Let's get right to it. August 1st, with Drilla Maloney on commentary. Callum Newman versus Sanada. Callum Newman came out like he meant business and shows it with an early, fast offense. However, Sanada's snaky ways is able to strike as he throws the ref in front of Newman's Oz Cutter. Newman should have had Sanada pinned 3 times over. However, Newman is able to overcome and gets the pin. Shosha Callum Newman. Ryohei Iowa versus Evil with Dick Togo and Don Filet. Iowa tries to play it smart and stays in the ring until finally Evil does goad him out, where Iowa is then introduced to Bushido Barricade and Dick Togo and Don Filet. And a microphone cord that Evil used to try to choke him. Anyway, even with the help of Hartley Jackson, trying to even the odds, a cloaked figure, Kanemaru, appears and throws pocket sand in the face of Iowa, allowing Evil to pick up a submission with a one-legged Boston Crab. Shosha Evil. Bolton Oleg versus David Finlay with Ghetto. An extra moist David Finlay got tossed around by Bolton Oleg's power offense for pretty much all this match. But Finlay showed his smarts as he hit a beautiful surprise roll-off of a counter of Bolton Oleg's Kamikaze to get the pin. Shosha Finlay. Taichi versus Yota Tsuji. The crowd was so behind Taichi that Yota Tsuji introduced Taichi to the crowd. Literally. This match was strong style artistry as these two went to war and left everything in the ring. When the sweat settled, it was Taichi who got the pin. Shosha Taichi. Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Yuya Uemura. Ace used the wisdom of the ages and tried to pacify Yuya Uemura by focus firing on Uemura's left knee. But Uemura showed the pride of the Youngbloods as he finished off Tanahashi with a well-executed deadbolt. Shosha Uemura. August 3rd with ELP on commentary. Bolton Oleg versus Callum Newman. Another war, another artistry in wrestling. These two left everything in the ring, but Oleg got the better of Newman with a slick kamikaze off a reversal for the pin. Shosha Oleg. Taichi versus Ryohei Iowa. The battle of who had the most destructive lariat. Taichi and Iowa just pounded each other mercilessly with lariat after lariat after lariat. In the end, Ryohei Iowa is left standing as he pins Taichi. Shosha Iowa. Yuya Uemura versus Sanada. ELP shared my same thoughts about this match, that unfortunately it was ruined. This match was gearing up to be a technical showcase, highlighting how good Uemura and Sanada really are. But then Kanemaru comes out and the House of Torture shenanigans begin. And, well, it ended up with Sanada hitting the old honky-tonk man with Uemura, with the guitar to Uemura's face. Shosha Sanada. David Finlay with Gedo versus Evil with Dick Togo and Don Filet. Now, I can't believe I'm saying it, but this match was the match of the day for me because it actually made me care about David Finlay. Finally! The match started with chaos, where Gedo and David Finlay snuck Evil and his crew, and it just even got more chaotic. House of Torture wouldn't be held down. They began to swarm. Then referee Red Shoes was knocked out and had to be carried into the back, just leaving everyone to their devices. Finlay just pounded on Evil, though, tricking him at every corner and also bringing in his shillelagh and getting that win. Shosha David Finlay. Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Yota Tsuji. In an interesting twist, it was Tanahashi gutting it out and overpowering Yota Tsuji with not one, not two, but 3 planchas to get the pin. Shosha Tanahashi. Points through August 3rd. It is a packed field. At the top, we have Yuya Uemura, Bolton Oleg, Yota Tsuji Ryohei Iwa and Evil with 8 points. Nipping at their heels, however, are Hiroshi Tanahashi, Taichi, Callum Newman, David Finlay, and Sanada with 6 points. This upcoming week is the week. It is anyone's ball game, and the way the matches have been going, I feel that there's no definitive front runner. Do I have some thoughts? Yeah. I still feel like the House of Torture is going to use every underhanded tactic they can to not only get Evil to the championship, but to screw over as many people as possible in the A block. Now that we are where we are, in the end, Hiroshi Tanahashi is going to come out on top of the A block. We've had some strong showings from the entirety of the field, but I think knowing that it's the Ace's swan song, that he's going to go out on top. And that's it. The A block goes back at it August 7th at 5:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, until next week, I'm Adolfo, the Nerdy Puerto Rican, one half of the Strong Style Syndicate. Matane.